Okay, so this is now the mind map to do with atomic structure and the periodic table. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the key things that you need to know about. Firstly, we start off with atoms, right? And the main thing here is we're going to talk about the subatomic particles, right? They are protons, electrons, and neutrons. Okay, so you've got the subatomic particles, they are the protons, electrons, and neutrons. And often, what we talked about PEN, protons, electrons, neutrons. Now, to do with this, you need to know charge on a proton, what a proton is, charge on an electron, what an electron is, neutrons, charge on an electron, what a neutron is, and then masses of each individual part. So, for example, a proton is 1, electron is negligible, or sometimes put down 0 because it's so small, and neutrons is also 1. Separation techniques. There are 5 separation techniques that you need to know about. We've got distillation. Now I'm just going to do them as a list on here. Crystallization. Chromatography. Evaporation. And filtration. Okay, now these 5 here, you need to know them in detail. You need to know methods and you need to know what you do them for. So distillation, simple distillation, is usually for separating out 2 liquids like alcohol and water based on boiling points. That's simple distillation. You also sometimes can get fractional distillation, which is then your crude oil. Crystallization and evaporation are quite similar, where you're taking out a solid matter of some sort out of a solution. Chromatography is the paper one, and you often talk about the RF value, and filtration is taking out insoluble solids. Group 1, 7 and 0. Group 1 are the alkali metals, and group 7 are the halogens. Now with this, right, we're talking about group 1, which is lithium, sodium, potassium. You need to know the differences between them. You need to know why is potassium more reactive than lithium. And you need to know kind of the electron structure and any other properties there may well be. Halogens is your fluorine, chlorine, bromine. And you need to know the same things. You need to know their electron structure, why is fluorine more reactive, and different properties of it. Down the middle, I'm then just going to write down noble gases. Right? Noble gases are the unreactive ones, helium, neon, argon. Right? And that's then they're unreactive because they've got a full outer shell. History of the atom. Right? There's really 6 people. Democritus, Dalton, J.J. Thomson, Rutherford, Boer, and Chadwick. Okay, so Democritus, he's the guy that said cannot be cut, right, many hundreds of years ago. Dalton talked about them being a sphere. J.J. Thomson is the plum pudding guy. Rutherford, gold leaf. Boer, electrons in shells. And Chadwick is about the neutron. The main one you're ever going to get asked about is Rutherford, and you need to know his observations, right, and his conclusions from it. But what they might do is they might compare it with the J.J. Thomson model, right? Now, some of the others may well also get mentioned, so you need to know details of all of them. Metals and non-metals, okay? You need to know properties, general properties of metals and non-metals. You also need to know where they are. Okay, I always talk about a zigzaggy line, right? So metals are to the left of the zigzaggy line, and non-metals are to the right of the zigzaggy line. Periodic table. Periodic table is really the chemistry Bible. You get one in your exam, right? You need to know about groups, and you need to know about periods. So groups is the columns, periods goes across. And you need to know 1 to 20 and be able to draw the electron structure of 1 to 20. Other things you need to know about the periodic table. You need to know about Mendeleev and the modern periodic table. Okay, so we've got 1 to 20, periods, groups, Mendeleev and modern. And the key point with Mendeleev is gaps, right? But you obviously need to know more detail than that. The final thing on here is elements. Now if I just put in sodium here, 23, 11, Na, you need to know about this number here, the mass number, the atomic number. You need to know about the symbol, where it's a capital and a lowercase. And then you also need to know about isotopes. So I'm going to draw a line to that. You need to know what that is. You need to know what that is. You need to know about the symbols. And you need to know about isotopes. Right? That is the key information about the atomic structure and periodic table.